It is day 13 of the lockdown if you're counting, and with a focus on the lockdown and essential workers, one very crucial aspect is rural farming. So what implications is this lockdown having for rural farming? Let's chat now to Constance Mogale. She's the National Coordinator for the Alliance for Rural Democracy. Constance, a very good morning to you. Thanks for your time this morning. Give us an idea of what the impact is on rural areas, farming in particular, the impact of this lockdown.
Yeah, so the rural areas, it's a hub of social networks. So they depend on each other. It's a network of safety for them. So this impact of COVID-19 on them has weighed heavily because the social distancing impact is going to isolate them from each other. And now the further closing of border gates, because we know that many people who are in Johannesburg are migrant laborers, and they send money home. Those people in the rural areas, they don't have industries. Then they depend on people who are in Johannesburg. So the farmers, they are not even now able to move their products. The product is rotting in the farms. The rural people, there's no water, so it's weighed heavily on them. And if you see the national priorities and the way the government has responded to this thing, you can clearly see that there was no proper planning. There was no, this total lockdown was just an announcement without consideration of every sector of the society, especially the rural people.
Constance, with us now being into day 13 of the lockdown, can you give us some idea of the level of awareness there in those areas, especially if one considers, yes, technology as well, and maybe, sort of very limited infrastructure for that in those areas. Is the message getting through on some level, though, there to residents in rural areas?
The level of awareness is there because of this radio, these local radio stations, and there is people have cell phones these days, but it is not that deep. We cannot undermine the fact that there are deep rural areas where people can't even have network coverage. So even if, you can see in Johannesburg the way people reacted, they have never taken this thing seriously, even though there's a high level of awareness. So because of this is a new thing for all of us. It is a new thing. There's no lessons to learn from. And those people in rural areas don't have TVs to see what is happening in Italy, what is happening in the US, and with all those feelings that the awareness raising that the TV can make. So we cannot undermine the fact that there are people with a less level of awareness, and even those who are not even taking it seriously, because we are all Thomas of the day. We want to see we want to see amongst our areas before we believe that this is.
Constance, there is a bit of a perception out there that, because folks in rural areas, in these far-flung areas, are so far removed from the cities as well, that they have less of a chance, or they're less vulnerable to infection because they wouldn't have come into contact maybe with somebody who has traveled or somebody who has been, in sort of like the urban jungle. Do you think that is true, that they are a little bit safer because of where they are and the nature of where they live?
So, for me, I think rural people were less vulnerable to this, but I cannot say that because, like I'm saying, this is a new thing. Nobody knows how it travels, it is just assumption. If we really knew, or if government really knew, or even the World Health Organization really knew, I think we could have having direct mechanism of combating this pandemic. But because we don't know, we cannot assume that they are less vulnerable. So we really need to take precautionary measures, all of us. Yeah. So we are just worried about the survival and their livelihoods of those people. How are they going to do it? If their movement is limited, there is social distancing, they cannot access help. We don't understand how else can these people, because they depend on each other.
Yes, and I understand the economic implications at the moment are top of mind. So an organization like yours, the Alliance for Rural Democracy, are you in any kind of talks, any kind of consultation, Constance, with anyone to bring them some kind of economic relief in this time of financial relief?
Yes, we have been making calls around to say to people, please make a mapping of caregivers, of small-scale farmers, of all the resources you have. We have been doing a table of that and sending them to help centers like the C19 group and the Solidarity Fund. So we are fortunate because our donor partners who are in Johannesburg have been giving us information to say, guys, please give us information of your networks, how we can help. So the problem is because of the limitation of movement, we don't know how the food is going to get to them. But we get the telephone addresses, nearest center or school, where if there's some help, it can be dropped there. So this is what we have been doing. It's so overwhelming that we are not used to. So our organization is of physical meetings and movements to rural people. But now with this lockdown, we just have to find means to communicate where we are.
All right. Well, thanks very much. We'll continue to keep an eye on what's happening in rural areas as well during this time, the economic implications being top of mind for them at the moment.